Hey, everybody, it's your girl, April Marie, and I am back joining you with my friend, Tavia Wooley.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey,
So this is part two to The Weight She Carries, Motherhood, Entrepreneurship, and Choosing Yourself Anyway. Before we get started, let me just do a little house cleaning. Thank you so much to 661 Creator Space. You already know where we are. This is a place that handles my podcast. When I come here, I do my hands-off recording. Thank God. This is the owner. She takes care of all the amazing heavy lifting, and I'm so thankful to her. If you need any multimedia work done, period, this is the place to come. She would be delighted to have you, and is so accommodating and sweet. And
Yay,
we're thankful to have such a wonderful businesswoman within our community. So thank you, Tavia.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So also want to just give a quick shout out to My Hair Honey, my show sponsor. Let me tell you, I am running a special right now, $38 for the leave-in conditioner spray. Plus the oil. So everyone keeps asking me what I do to my locks, they're growing, they're so long, they're so full. I know, okay? It's because I literally have a regimen. It's quick, it's easy, and it does not get in the way of my day, but it is intentional, right? So I do my leave-in spray, and then I follow up with a couple drops of oil. I rub it in my scalp, and then I continue with the flow of my day. It is not, anything that gets in the way of my schedule. It's just an added bonus to how I feel about myself and my hair. Smells good, feels good, looks good. That's the ticket. So if you're interested, when you are interested, because you are for sure, you can hit us up on Instagram at myhairhoney. The website is not up yet. I don't care. Judge me. Judge somebody else.
Judge your mama.
Judge your mama. Yeah. Business be businessing. And right now, this is the best form of contact for us is at My Hair Honey. And you can DM for your order because people are ordering, and that's amazing. So I have shipments to get out tomorrow. So yes, excited about all of those things, you guys. Oh my God, what? Are you kidding me? Yeah, right. That's okay. Somebody wants their hair done. Okay. Business doesn't sleep. Okay. So welcome back to the conversation, Tavia. Thank you again for joining me here today. This conversation was in depth last week, and it's going to be in depth again today because there's just some new hot topics that are on the table that I think just as mothers, as women, as entrepreneurs, all the things kind of deserve our attention. So we were talking last week, and we had a lot of questions about motherhood, about entrepreneurship, about being divorced. We're both divorced, both having adult kids and children still in the home, right?
Yes.
How are you feeling from last week?
Man, like a relief, a release.
Yeah.
And then also it makes me continue to think about our journey, especially with the last set of kids in the home and how we need to continue to shape their development while pursuing our own greatness.
Yeah.
And so those are just some of the thoughts from last week that I'm just like sitting with.
Yes.
And I just want to say, I also think it's just so beautiful. I mean, a lot of the parent spaces I operate in, I meet a lot of moms who their whole world is their children, and I don't think anything is wrong with that. I love and adore my children, but I'm so thankful that to have still my own identity intact while I'm still evolving right now.
Sure.
I still have my identity as Tavia still intact.
Yes.
And I didn't lose it to motherhood. And there's nothing wrong with it for others, but as we become empty nesters,
right,
we got to have something, for us to really continue on, not necessarily step into.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I agree. Because I feel like by that time, once the kids are gone and now you're on this discovery path, it takes longer. You could be curating the life that you want pre-retirement so that when you do retire or empty nest, you have the life already set up for you.
Already set up.
You're just continuing the flow. Yeah. And I think that's so important to not just start digging deep once you don't have anything else to do. No, find value here because your kids are even watching you.
Yeah.
Right? Mold yourself and flow and groove. And even leaving the house today, Carter's like, oh, what are you about to do? I'm like, oh, I have to go record a podcast. And when I get done, I have to go, package some orders. And he's like, go, Mom. And I was like,
Yes.
thanks, son.
Oh,
Like, okay, yeah.
isn't that sweet?
So, yes.
Oh, I had a moment like that last week.
Oh.
My boys now work with a tennis coach for tennis.
Oh, yes.
And this particular day, my tennis session was right after theirs. And so to have my son sitting on the side cheering me on,
Yes.
and my 12-year-old who occasionally gives me the blues, he's like, all right, twin. I was like, he called me twin.
You love me?
I was trying to play it so cool, but he called me twin.
Called me twin.
Yes. I was like, okay.
And I think that's probably where the blues comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Carter can give me the blues, but he is most like me. And he sees it now. And I think maybe your boo sees it too.
Whew. I hope so.
Because do you see it? Do you see him being a lot like you in certain instances?
The kind where I see why my teachers were always stressed and happy in their class.
Really? Yeah.
Because I challenged all of adult authority.
Okay.
I had a question. I had an answer, a comment for everything. And if I didn't agree, I was going to tell you
that I
did
didn't
not
agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's Izzy.
That is Izzy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he'd stand 10 toes down. And now I'm like, no wonder the teachers are always afraid of me.
Strong personality.
Yes.
That Capricornus.
Right? I'm like,
Capricorn energy up in here.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say.
Yeah.
Virgo and a Capricorn are the best signs ever.
Virgo.
Capricorn. Okay.
I mean, a December Capricorn. I'm going to even go that far. I know there's going to be people who's going to watch this and be like,
I know she didn't say
right? I said what I said. I said what I said. Okay.
That's all right. Speak your truth, girl. Talk your truth. That's all right. I love it. I love it. So I have a couple more questions. Okay. So when life gets overwhelming for you, what brings you back to focus? What brings you back to you?
Oh, that is a good one. Kind of what you were saying earlier, the designing my life. So I do have a vision for my life that is inclusive of my children while you are still in my care, and hopefully the legacy continues on with you. So I do some vision casting. I visualize what all this hard work is leading to. When I'm at my wit's end with my children, really working on the refinement of them.
Right.
I'm reminded, I look and visualize, well, what kind of adults am I really raising? And I already have one good example, my older son, who's an adult, and I'm like, yeah, I really did that. But he didn't give me the blues. He really woke me out. But to see him flourish as a young adult. So I hold on to my vision for my life.
Yes.
And I think about it often. And then I still prioritize rest.
Okay.
And I have my hobbies. Like this year I went all in on hobbies. Because for me as an overachiever, I think the overachieverness is what gets me to the point of overwhelm at times.
Right.
Because I'm like, no, it has to be perfect and I have to keep going. My hobbies ground me in this place of, one, you don't need to compete. You don't really need to overachieve. You just need to enjoy the process and journey of whatever the hobby is.
Right.
And so that grounds me in that everything in what I'm doing in my life doesn't have to be a 10. It could be a 2 as long as I am working on enjoying it and being in that moment. So those are the two things, doubling down on my hobbies and being reminded of my vision for my life.
I love that. Yeah. I'd have to say that I agree with that. I feel like my hobbies are things that I already make. Like I try to make money at them. Like, so I love making shea butter.
Which I need my jar.
I got you. It's coming. It's coming. It's ready. It's ready. I forgot to bring it today, but I'm gonna get it to you this week. So I make shea butter. I love gardening.
Yes.
And those are things that I'm like, hey, you guys need plants too. come here, get your $5, $7 plant, because it took a lot to make it and create it and curate it, and then just like go put it in the windowsill, or, whatever, making the hair care products,
Right.
it's like things that I'm already passionate about and things that I can scale over time. But right now it's passion. And because it costs to make it, then it's
Yeah.
like you have to pay for it. But I mean,
The
it's not.
investment.
Yeah, it's the
I think
investment.
the words we need to start using more often is the investment. Like when I
Yes.
get my hair done with you, what do I say? What's my investment?
Yeah. And I love that. That it gives it a positive spin
Yeah.
on something. When people say, what's my damage? I always say, well, it's not damage, it's self-care. But I love the investment.
Yeah,
I'm
what is
going to
my
implement
investment?
that. Yeah, for sure. So it is the investment of my time. And then of course on your end, it's like a pure form, to me, it's like the most beautiful and pure form of reciprocation. So yes, I invested this time and this water and these seeds, planting this plant that's gonna bear fruit.
Yeah.
And so then, yes, the reciprocation is that you're gonna water it and you're gonna receive fruit. But for that, yeah, a little fee or a little tip or a little something in return, because it's all cyclical.
It is. I mean, but I think that also goes back to just business. Like on the
Yep.
last episode, we talked about being transactional and not
Yes.
necessarily in the bad way, but I do this, what's in it for me? Or,
Right.
this is my time, my knowledge, my education, my
Yes.
experience. And
Yes.
so I think we just need to normalize that a whole lot more. And I'm saying that out loud, but I'm also speaking to myself because,
Yes.
I have a tendency to not do that.
Right.
But I think it devalues what we do when we don't. So yeah,
No.
yeah,
I'm learning that.
yeah.
For a long time, it took me like people say, well, how much, what's my investment? What's my damage? How much do I owe you? What? And I'm like, oh, geez. Well, let me look. Now I have the excuse, and I've gotten a little more mature in that, because I love what I'm doing for the person. It messes with my ability to put a price tag on it. But there is a price tag on
There
it,
is.
and it must be paid.
Yeah, yeah. It is.
So exactly what Emma Grede said from we talked about
She
the last
said it.
episode. She said it, she meant it, and we are implementing that.
We are implementing.
We are business women, and everything does come for us at a cost. So you do have to pay for it, even if it's a passion project.
I wonder if we went to a doctor and attorney, we would not hesitate, and they wouldn't hesitate on the bill.
No.
So I wonder if it's like, but there's this perception about the professionalism or the professionalized status of attorneys, lawyers, engineers, maybe even construction workers, the skill set. So maybe, I know I have to work on recognizing that even all my passion projects, which are some that I have here,
Yes.
are still, I've spent hours, months, weeks, depending on what the skill set is to develop it. And that there has to be an investment back in purchasing
there does.
the product. So yeah.
There does, because it is time, it's effort, and we're going to show you the beautiful things that she makes with her hands. We talked about that last week too, like curating wealth from the palms of your hands. I mean, there's such a gift and it's so rewarding, but people, they don't have the same, it doesn't, for them, a lot of people don't see the same value. It's like, well, you could go to Target or Walmart for it, but I make the oil and it's 100% this. You made this tablet, it's gonna have your name on it, your blah blah blah. Like, no, I handpicked the shirts, so they're cotton, because that's like, the more natural form in our sweat, and it doesn't mess with our lymph nodes and all of those things, right? So you're getting a healthier, more curated version of the thing, is thoughtful on purpose to help you live a more fulfilled life. And you really can't put a price tag on it.
No, you can't.
You really can't. But we do. And then we're met with, whatever.
Oh, you just did it, but no.
Yeah, no. This is not mass produced.
No.
These things are quality controlled because we've done them individually. Exclusive. Yeah.
Like one of a kind in a sense. You're not gonna be able to go to Target and Walmart or any of those Amazon, any of those stores to get what we have to offer,
No.
and to know that it is 100% what we say it is. Because truth of the matter, things that are mass produced be based on FDA and all these different rules. There's ways to hide around
Yes.
what these items really are.
Yes.
You know,
And they do.
they do for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
The
That's a whole
name
nother
organic
episode.
is not even organic.
It's not
okay. It's a
organic.
whole nother episode. You heard
Yes,
it here first. She said it.
it
Okay,
is.
we're not even
So,
gonna go down that rabbit hole. Cause what? It could go
right.
that way. Yes. Okay. So when life gets overwhelming, we feed ourselves.
Yes.
We find ways to restore. I love speaking to women.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's a small group, even if it's a one-on-one, it does something for me to be able to give something back to the women that I'm talking to, the
Yeah.
woman that I'm talking to. And so those are things that kind of help me through this transitional phase.
Yeah.
And
I love
I'm just
that.
learning this about myself too.
Mm.
Because I don't think I've ever put value on it as much as I feel like this is very powerful, what I have. And I'm going to start saying that this is good. What I offer is good.
You know, I think one of the words to consider to put in your vocabulary is the impact you have when you do that.
Mm.
Okay, you are literally changing households one person at a time, which
Yes.
and translates to neighborhoods being changed one person at a time. So it's the impact. And that's the time we need to just really normalize what the actual impact is.
Yes.
During at the early start of the pandemic, I had an online group called the Black Girls Guide to the Pivot.
Love.
And I had a few friends, and we all facilitated like a podcast, lives, a virtual
Right.
summit. And it was just to help Black women
Yes.
like pivot during this difficult time as the world was shutting down. Y'all remember that time, right?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And so we're doing it and all things. And then, we come out of the pandemic and it was all virtual.
Right.
And then one day I'm in my space, my office, and another business owner was using the space to have a women's group workshop. And as we're going around the room, there's one lady who looked, kind of familiar, but I'm like, I don't know. I used to be a social worker and probation officer. I'm like, Lord, do I know him from those
Right.
days?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when we got to her, she introduced herself, and I immediately recognized her name, and she was from the online community. And so she was like, "Oh my gosh, Tavia, this is the first time da da da."
Right. Right. Right.
And she would later share what that online space meant for her because she was all alone during the pandemic, and there was times where she considered an alternative.
Yes.
And so the impact that we have,
Right,
like
right.
that's huge. Like
That
we
is.
get fuel from like just pouring into people.
Yeah.
But one woman could change the whole world.
The whole
Like
world.
legit.
Legit. So
there you
it
go.
is impactful.
That is you.
And that is you.
So yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. Beautifully said.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so what is the loneliest part of carrying an entire household by yourself?
we had offline a quick conversation.
We did.
And so my recent realization is I've been touched, deprived for so many years. Of course, my kids hug me 20 to 50 times per day. All of them.
Yeah.
Yay. And it's yay.
Nope.
It's a little different when you don't have a partner who can just soothe your nervous system.
Right. That's a big one.
It's huge. I didn't realize the magnitude of your nervous system being soothed, relaxed, calm. So I would say that it's lonely, and not only just the physical, but it's also a representation of like there is no one there to help support the load.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that is my newest like actualization. Like, man, this is serious.
It is serious. It is serious. I agree with you on that. I was sharing too, off camera, we were just having a quick conversation, which we always do that before the podcast.
Before the
that's the part. Okay?
That might need to be another podcast. The before the podcast
conversations. Because what? Yeah, we should put that out there. Because man, they be lit. But I was sharing that I'm just so used to the vertical relationships. So I'm the mother, and then my kids are here, and so I can give vertical hugs and whatever, and they suck. Okay, they're not amazing. Can we be honest?
Yeah, please.
I mean, after certain amounts, I can't be touched anymore. I wasn't
exaggerating about 20 to 50.
No,
I have 3 little ones at home.
Yes,
and I raised them to be little, like touchy, nurturing, lovey people. And they still are touchy, lovey, nurturing people. So yes,
I know. Mm-hmm. My sons too, but now I'm smaller than both of them, so it's the arm around the neck and my head, and I get so overwhelmed. And sometimes I'm just like, Carter, Caleb, okay, that's enough, and they're like, well, okay, are you all right?
Right? They be looking at you. You're like we've offended them. And I'm sure in their little hearts, their big little hearts, we have. But it's like, I'm good,
I just need a minute, because I've already been in my head. We've been talking, because I've been trying to engage that way, talking, okay, yeah, mommy's present. I'm here. I'm present. Mm-hmm. But at some point, I remember my parents, they've been married for 45 years. Happy anniversary, mom and dad. And I remember my mom at some point going to the back and where their room was, and getting herself together, putting on her lipstick, putting on a little spray, because daddy was coming home. And this was her moment to have an uplink. Ooh. This was her moment to get it together. So when my dad walked in, she would say, hi, honey. Oh, and she greeted him with that. And I remember thinking, this is so corny when I was little. I don't know if I needed to narrate my life as a little kid, it would totally be, I don't even know, crazy. But I remember thinking, this is so corny. But now, the value in that, and what I learned from that, and like seeing how they love each other and interact, and how, yes, I'm sure she was her nervous system was at catastrophic level 10.
Right.
Because there was 3 of us, and we were all 2 years. I mean, me and Michael were 2 years apart. Stephanie was 6 years from me, 8 years from my brother. So she had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And then to be able to see when my dad came home, and he was like super alpha. So when he came home, she made sure that dinner was ready. Okay. She didn't have to work. Dinner was ready.
Oh, such a beautiful blessing.
Beautiful life, right? Kids, hey, daddy's coming home. Sit down. Don't be messing. Don't be upsetting my man, okay? Because I'm about to see him, let me go.
All that noise, honey. All that noise.
And when my daddy came home, she would just hug him and kiss him, and she would be like, "Oh," and I would be like, "This is so whack." As I'm sitting on the couch being quiet, because what? Daddy needs peace.
He does.
Yeah, he did. And so for me, I remember that, and it resonated deeply in the sense of, I can see now I don't have it. And for me, that's lonely. Yes, it's lonely pulling the weight, the financial weight, right? Oh, I can't wait to have somebody pulling my wagon. But, God's good, right? All my needs are met, desires met, all of that. So praise the Lord. But it will be wonderful. It will be wonderful when I'm able to have an uplink.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. So that for me is lonely. And so I feel you on that, sis.
Yeah. Let the church say
amen. Amen.
All right.
Okay.
We shall receive.
Right. Oh, it's coming. It's almost here. Yeah, I feel it. I could smell it. I could smell him. He smells like Creed. Okay, so we're going to shift gears, okay, back to the parenting thing. But I just want to note, so many things that are happening in the world right now.
Yeah.
And so as parents, especially Black parents, we do have a responsibility to prepare our children for the reality that prejudice and racism still exist. But how do we do that without teaching them that everyone is not a threat?
Ooh.
You know? How do we raise children who are aware and discerning and confident without carrying fear as a default?
So I know for me, because my young ones are homeschooled,
Mm,
I have a lot of conversations with them about behaviors, their behaviors, how they should behave, what's good behaviors, bad behaviors, how things can be perceived. And then I also have a lot of conversations with them about other people's behaviors, how if they're good, they're bad, or when people display those type of behaviors and actions, how does it make you feel?
right.
And what that should signal to you, your
Signal.
actual
Yes.
feeling. So I do at this phase, it's less about for us attaching everything to a particular group or,
Mm-hmm.
situation like scenario, and more to help them identify the behaviors in anybody, because anybody could display these raggediness and, the harm or ill
Mm-hmm.
intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want them to get so super locked on what the big bad wolf was going to look
Look
like,
like.
but more like what the big bad wolf is going to sound like or say to you or do to you, and
Yes.
how does those things make you feel, which will then tell you this isn't
This
good.
is
I
the
don't
path.
like this,
Right.
and I need to stay away from that.
Yes.
So that is in this phase. And I say phase because I think, as my children mature, emotional maturity will determine how much more of the world we explain in just raw terms,
Yeah.
age appropriate terms.
Right.
And so I remember starting, my kids have always been homeschooled. A lot of people started homeschooling in the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
My kids were homeschooled before that. And so a lot of people were like, well, they need to learn. And, basically people were just saying the world is horrible. Your kids need to be exposed to that. And I was just used to think like, so we should just willingly expose our naive and inexperienced children to the trauma. I'm not saying that the world isn't horrible, but I don't think we should all have to take it in, like being thrown into the pool and you're going to sink and swim. So I take everything in phases with them based on their emotional maturity. So, and what I found for my kids is when they are ready for the lesson is consumed faster and is
Mm-hmm.
made solid.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
Mm-hmm.
can move on to the next thing versus when they have not been ready for something. This has been, whether it was educational, academic stuff, or these emotional intelligence
Sure.
and things. When they have not been ready for it, it's just like deer in the headlights,
Yeah.
and it's just I'm having to beat them,
Right.
like to get the concept. But when I practice more patience,
Yeah.
based on where they're at, they get it.
Uh-huh. That is beautiful.
Yes.
I really love that.
Well, thank you.
You saw me locked in.
Yeah, I was like,
It's
okay,
like,
yes,
oh, this is
yeah,
good. I love that because you have control
yeah,
over
hmm,
the information.
yeah,
And I love that they have you have the ability to gauge and see when they're ready to learn specific things.
hmm,
It's not just the world throwing the things
yes,
at them and now
yeah,
they're like not ready, a deer in headlights trying to figure out how to handle these situations.
yeah,
They're ready for them because they are more so in a controlled environment.
yeah.
And that's beautiful.
And I always say, I don't want to throw them into the lion's den because they weren't raised to be in the lion's den. So yeah, it's I'm very intentional, and if I'm being fully transparent, it's very exhaustive. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Right.
It is, but realize seeing how I grew up, being around in situations where I was maybe the only person that looked like me,
Mhm.
and the things I heard or the things that were said to me,
Mhm.
and as a kid, and you don't know, like sometimes it's coming from adults, and you're
I
like,
know.
what can I say? What can I
I
do?
know.
Um, so yeah, so I think about, do I want them to have that same experience as I did, or do I want to ease them into this to better equip them
Yeah.
for what the world will be, or will do, like, because we cannot control the world.
We cannot.
We cannot.
We cannot. We cannot. We cannot control the world. I was listening to what you were saying, and then as I was listening, I was just thinking about my own self as a kid and the different things being raised in the Antelope Valley,
Yes.
which has been,
Yep.
I don't talk a lot about the things that I heard, experienced, the things that happened, or the way people major aggressed me.
Yes.
From a space of racial, race being racist or whatever. And I never talk about it because I'm like, look, I've got to live through it all. And I've got to get to the other side, and I'm not going to be held victim to these things or these ideas or whatever. But the truth is that it does shape the way that you do things, the way that you think about things, how you interact with people. And so it has been the hardest thing for me. I'm speaking of watching this whole thing play out with Nolan Wells, and rest in peace for him, and really blessings to his mother and his father and his whole family and the people in the surrounding community, really, because this child was a promised athlete, and they say just a kind soul. He was just a good kid, all around good kid. And so with that being said, I think of my sons, and I have two, one 19 and one 12. And, I think about the things that we've talked about. They're both very open to having friendships of all different ethnicities. And so just yesterday or Monday, I had two boys of other ethnicities in my home, along with one other boy who happens to be Black like Carter. And so, they're just playing around in different, I would hear different words come out, a little cuss word here or there, or just like a little boy talk.
Right.
And I don't let that bother me. I'm like, I'm not about to be sitting up here talking about stop cursing. I don't want to do that. I'm listening for words and statements that sound unfriendly, that sound wrong. So, like, what is it when you're supposed to be politically correct or whatever? I guess politically incorrect phrases, things that you're just not supposed to say out loud. But I'm also listening to the context in which the things are being said, listening to the tone, because and so anyway, I was sitting on the couch, and I just was doing my work, and on the computer, because I did not work Monday, and I was just present.
Yeah.
When they were outside on the playing basketball, I had Google on the camera so I could just hear. I'm not waiting to hear, man, you just a little bee, this and that. I don't care about that.
Right.
I care about the NIGGER. R. I hate about, I'm listening for, you blah, blah, blah coming out of one of the Black kids' mouths, or that's why your nose looks like that, or you, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm listening for that because that is now a character thing. That is something else. And to me, those are indicators of whether they're your friend or your foe.
Right.
And so it's just so difficult, even for my own mental health. That's the next question, is teaching your kids how to navigate these things, but also trying not to inflict fear into them. And then also not sitting up all night, biting your nails, trying to figure out, are they going to come home?
So we used to live in Santa Clarita, which is even diverse. And where we lived specifically was like, even more or less diverse.
Okay.
I had to have a lot of conversations with people's parents, preemptive. So before we even get to this point, let's have a conversation. Let me tell you what my expectations are. I'm going to do my due diligence, whether I feel like I should have to or not. I'm going to explain certain things that are common to us. Not necessarily saying common to Black people, but what you will see interacting with me and my kids, so that you don't ask the dumb question later.
Right.
Because how you ask it, or whatever you might have perceived about it could be damaging for my children.
Right.
And so I had to do a lot of education work, educating the parents, sleepovers, little girl bonnets, why she can't just get in the pool without something being over her hair,
Girl.
or all the things. And I did that, sometimes as uncomfortable as it was to make sure my children could just exist without hearing those things I used to have to hear.
I know.
Those questions, or can I touch your hair, or things like that. And this is where people might disagree with me. I feel like when you live in places where your children are going to naturally come across all ethnicities, or predominantly one particular group, I do feel like it's on the parent to have those conversations.
I know.
If you really want to make sure your children are not side swiped by these statements, and because I know they were very damaging to me.
Very damaging to me too.
I internalized a lot of them, and I didn't know what to do with them. And then also I role play with my kids. If someone says this, and this is what you can say.
Right.
I'll ask them, what do you think? How should you respond? I also ask, if this ever gets like this, do you want me to step in, or do you want to use your own words? I don't mind stepping in until you feel like you're ready to step in. Because honestly, having to deal with racist remarks is a huge thing that I'm just like, I don't think any child really should have to deal with. Even if they can use their own words, it's still, because it's so loaded. It's horrible.
I just want to know, when I think about the face of a child, just the face of a child with the eyeballs as big as they are, with the still little wrinkles on the neck, and the little pockets of fat around the wrist, and the cheeks probably with a little bit of red because they're overexerted, they're not drinking enough water, whatever the cute little, right? You think about what a little kid looks like. And then as an adult, I think about what could possess you to be so nasty and so mean to a child who's looking at you with the innocence of heaven.
Right.
I don't know what. Yeah. And it makes me so disgusted because I've experienced it. I've experienced it as a little kid. And it makes me wonder, you have got to be a sicko.
And they teach their children that. And some children will repeat it naively, not knowing the magnitude of it. And then there are some who they're being taught with the intent to cause harm. And so another thing, where we lived, our townhome was like the location all the kids wanted to play in front of. So like you, I would leave all my windows and windows open so I could hear the conversation. And so I made it clear to all children and their parents, if you're going to play in front of my door, I'm not going to let anyone get talked to crazy.
Right.
Like whether it was a race thing, or because we had children that maybe were LGBTQ, or there was an assumption, and then, nobody's kid was going to get, I'm not going to let you do it. And I'm going to step out my door. And I would also tell parents, if you're not okay with that, then you make sure you keep your child away from my front door.
Right.
Because I'm going to step in, because I don't believe any child should be bullied or hear things that are going to damage their self-esteem.
Right.
And for the most part, nobody really ever had a problem with that. But, being present, like I just, again, not only am I going to protect my children from not hearing that, I'm going to protect the other children too. And again, it's a due diligence, and again, it's a lot of work. It's a lot.
It is a lot
because I work from home, so I'm usually on a meeting and doing all the things, but I have to keep my ears open to make sure things are not happening, or minimize the chances of it happening as much as possible.
Same, and that's my goal. When other people's kids are with me, I'm constantly texting. I'm like, hey, call your mom, text your mom. Let me see, what's her number? Let me text her. Let me call her. I just want them to know that you're safe here.
Yes.
And I don't know, I just, anyway. So as this story continues to unfold with this young man being left on this island, it's an uninhabited island, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing on it. It's just a place where you can go and dock for the day and play in the sand right off the water. So it's not like well, from what it looked like, it didn't look like there was buildings or there was anything on there. And it really looked flat. So to me, from where the view that I saw, Horn Island, it looked more just like just a bulge that is out. It doesn't look like there's mountains or terrain
to obstruct anybody's
view. For me, I don't even know how a boat could leave a person on an island when you can see that there's no one else here and there's only one if they're standing up. And now I'm not an attorney. Now I know that Ben Crump is on the case, and I'm so excited about that because I want to make sure that he gets a fair trial. He gets a fair.
That the truth comes out, the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us God.
Help us God, because to me there's nothing to me that doesn't point to foul play. And I just want the answers. I don't want it to go swept under the rug because we need this to be we need this to stop happening.
Yeah.
Because what was the woman who fell off the balcony? She went to go hang out with friends. Mm-hmm. Did you remember that story?
No, which one is that? Because I've seen a whole lot. Apparently, there was the black mom who was hanging out with
that's her.
That's one, and then she ends up dead in the backyard.
Dead in the backyard because she fell off a 14-foot balcony. She was going upstairs to smoke all night. I think her name was Tamarin or something like that. Sorry, Lord, if I don't get her name right, but I didn't have that in my notes. But God bless her story. She was going upstairs to smoke throughout the night of this adult sleepover, and they were drinking their vodka or whatever and hanging out. And she would go upstairs to the balcony to smoke her cigarette because it was right off the whatever. And around 1, 2 in the morning, she falls to her death. And there's 14 other people there or whatever the crazy amount of people. And no one heard, saw, smelled, felt anything. And there's bedrooms off that back door.
Mm-mm. And then recently I learned there was an Asian woman who went to a yoga retreat, I believe South America. I'm butchering it, but she fell into the water. It involved water and body missing. And her friend, who there's a picture of her, they're holding hands, and she immediately goes home and lawyers up and all the things, and it's like.
But you're not telling us what happened.
You're not telling what happened.
Because if it wasn't that, I would be like, and then
I would be looking.
Oh my God.
I would be. First off, anybody. I mean, when I go places and I'm aware that someone else is in the space, I'm looking out for you, whether I know you or not.
I know. Same.
Whether I know you or not, I'm like, you good? I'm
right.
Like, let's make eye contact. Do you know these people?
Yes.
Or so. Yeah, the fact that no one does anything, know anything.
But it is historically that way for these, these people, white people. I mean, it is what it is. It is that way. It has been that way. These cases have been coming out where everyone comes back with a shoulder shrug. It's like, I don't know. It was probably something they wanted to do. The mother of the kid, that she's a judge, she said today, released a statement. He made a choice, she said, to stay back on the island because the boat that the boys were in was taking on water, and any additional weight would have thrown the boat.
So we picked that one boy. We picked the one boy.
Well, supposedly, this was she saying, her statement. He made a decision. You're not shifting the blame
on someone who can't even voice. No, I didn't.
Right. He can't even advocate for himself. You all allowed him. She said, me and my husband were nowhere near the island. So we were not there. But how are you telling the story? Why are you telling the story if you were not there? To me, it's just another story lie of how they will stick up for themselves and each other, and they will advocate for that. And that the rest is whatever it is. Whatever I say it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Game of Thrones, even though it's fictitious. I was watching Game of Thrones, and Queen Cersei said, however you say her name, Cersei was like telling a story. And the scribe stopped scribing, and he looked like that didn't quite happen. And she said, "What?" And he said, "Oh, yes, Your Majesty, I just don't recall those things." She said, "The truth is what I say it is." Now, like, keep writing or off with your head. So whatever I come up with, and I said, this is how they feel, because this is what they do historically. This is what they do
historically. I can't remember what the quote is, but something that Victor writes history or something like that. But the point is basically, those who have the resources to kill and destroy and all the things get to write history.
Get to write the stories.
And that is throughout history. You know, in our history books, everything is written from a certain narrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
That this group is victorious at, you know, they created the heavens and the earth.
Right.
You know, I hope, I wish the young man was still alive, because no one should have to deal with this.
Right.
But I do hope that this tragedy becomes a catalyst for people desiring to seek the truth.
Right.
And here's the thing, though. It can't just be us. We need allies from other groups to recognize that if we don't all say the same thing of like, we need the truth.
Right.
More importantly, we need allies that look like the perpetrators.
Yeah.
To say, you know what, Becky?
Right.
John? Okay. Well, I'm not tolerating this anymore. I don't think this is right.
Right.
And so I want to know what really happened.
Right.
Because that's the only way we're going to actually get the truth, is when those who represent, those who are part of the actual community, take a stand.
Yes.
Because we've all been saying the same thing.
Yes. And we're all
global
not
majority,
wrong.
The global majority, which is everybody else,
right,
has been saying this for years.
Yes.
We need people from within the community to say, I'm actually going to stand on the side of truth.
Right.
Because this isn't a boys will be boys.
No. And I want you to stop calling them boys. They're not. They were all 19, and they keep trying to say now, like, oh, well, you know, he was 19 or 18, 19. You know, he made a decision. And it's like, no. And the boys, but you're referring to your sons as boys.
But this is an adult.
I've even,
the adultification of Black children.
Honey,
Yeah.
I've even corrected people online when they're like, look at this cute little man. They'll be talking about some baby, a Black baby,
That's
a cute little man.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, this is a cute baby boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got time. He'll be a man later.
He will.
He is not a man now.
And and you bring up a good point. We as parents, mothers
Yeah.
in particular, need to stop adultifying our children.
Yes.
Period.
Period.
And I think, just going back to wrap it up in a bow, that's also part of the reason why I homeschool my children. I wanted them to hold on to their childhood as long as possible. Because when they're in institutions, those institutions will, to hell or high water, make them an adult or make them more responsible than the other children in the classroom. So yeah, it's just a movement that needs to happen. These are kids. Now I'm hoping as parents you taught your children better, because just as much as we're saying they're still kids, I can recall situations in which people didn't raise their children well and they did heinous things.
Yes.
So likewise, yeah.
And I was saying on TikTok today, and then we are gonna wrap it up in a bow. But I was saying today that I feel like, the constant blaming of the victim. Well, we have to teach our kids, or I was seeing a lot of comments. Black people from other races, Black people need to start teaching their kids that they can't hang out with rich white kids. Excuse me. I'm raising rich Black children. Mm-hmm. And they just want to hang out with people that are friends. Why don't you teach your children, regardless of whether they're wealthy or not, to handle people carefully?
Yeah.
Why don't you teach your children how to be friends? Yeah. Then we wouldn't have stories like this. Mm-hmm. Why don't you teach instead of telling me as a woman, make sure when you go outside, you put on, your whole entire garment, because there's going to be a man
Instead
watching.
of teaching men to be
disciplined.
disciplined. Yeah. No, the society loves to blame the victim.
Yes.
That's a real bad habit.
It's terrible. And we have to get out of that, because it's becoming more and more egregious, and it's on purpose. And now it's feeling like, oh, well, he shouldn't have went. And I'm seeing it a lot from Black people too. He shouldn't have went with them white people. He knew better. Why did he go? No,
No young person ever really. I mean, come on. I know they don't have the prefrontal cortex development, the cerebellum, whatever it is, the one that has a critical thinking. They don't have it. So what is normal to us, having lived many years,
yes,
and a lot of experiences tell us, don't do that.
Right.
A young person thinks they're invincible.
Yes.
No matter how annoying it is to us, they don't have that reasoning. And I'm just going to refrain, because I do have an opinion, but I always like to say my opinion is rooted in my own trauma of losing a child. So I'm just way more paranoid about, I don't trust nobody. I don't care what you look. I don't care if we blood relate. I don't trust nobody.
Yeah.
So just to say that, but we're past the point of blaming what should have been done. I just want the truth. I want answers. I want this mother family, mother, father, siblings, if there are some, who are going to have 50 million questions in their head about this.
I know.
All the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I wish I would have. But the shoulda, coulda, wouldas will destroy you.
Yes, they will.
And then to have public discourse about your own child's death.
I know.
Everybody's going to have a think piece about what you shoulda, coulda, woulda done.
I know.
And then you're going to have people who are going to defend those who were participated in this. If this reaches anyone, just have more grace.
Yes.
And pray if that is what you believe in, but more grace. Because I can imagine, once again, because this happens, every year, once again, having another parent having to have so much discourse about their child's death.
Right.
While you grieve, while you try to figure out what really actually happened, and how do you put your life back?
How?
Yeah.
At this point, for the parents, it's just, we just have to pray, and we have to teach our kids truly about just figuring out people's character. Or same race, different race.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
You just want to be around like-minded people. Like-minded people that want the same goals as you. And, honestly, it can't solely be based on race. A lot of it is, and that's not even to our doing.
No.
It's just, one of the things that we have to tackle. But I just
want to add this last thought.
Yeah.
I will have to say there is a due diligence on parents. If you have friends or associates, people you're around, look at how they're raising their children.
Right.
Like, that starts to tell you everything you really need to know. And I honestly think you need to start judging, do your children need to be influenced by these individuals? I think we take these things a little too lightly. And I say that as someone who spent 20 years as a social worker, probation officer, dealing with families, all the things. So this isn't, my first rodeo of experience, as a social worker, I had to see and interact with a whole lot of really horrible things. And I think that's also what really pushed me to how I raised my last children, is that people take things too lightly, not understanding the harm that it's caused. You're not you, but the global you thinking nothing's wrong with calling somebody the N-word.
Right.
That might not matter to you, but that doesn't change the impact it has on who is on the receiving end of that.
Yes.
So just because you don't care, it's no big deal. You have removed the impact that it causes. So I think as parents, we should be mindful of how our family and friends are raising their children. Like, watch, be judgmental in a sense. You don't need to vocalize anything, but just watch how they handle if their child is the bully.
I know.
Even the little taunting. I won't even get into a real situation, but the little taunting.
Yes.
that built up over time
I know.
causes mental health harm.
Yes, it
But
does.
because you believe kids should have tough skin, that's you. I don't believe that. I don't believe any child should ever be taunted or made fun of.
Right.
Like, because why?
Right.
Why?
Right.
It don't even make sense to me. But
Yes.
you're like, they should toughen up. No.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
No. Tyrone doesn't need to toughen up. Your child need to stop making fun of their height, their weight, their color, their teeth. These are things that cannot be changed.
Can't be changed.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like,
This is the body they're born with. Leave their body out of it.
leave their body out of it.
Yes.
Like, stop.
Yes.
So I just want to put a plug. I think there's still parents. I know it's tiring, y'all.
I know.
We got to do a little bit more.
We do.
To be mindful of who our kids are associating with. Just because I had to learn the hard way, just because people had degrees, because I grew up with this perception, well, if you're college educated, then you automatically should be doing better. No.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
no.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Right.
so,
right.
So then when I took that bias out that I had, and I just started to watch how they parent
Right.
and what they thought was acceptable, I was like, oh, actually, I don't think
It
that's
doesn't align
acceptable.
with
It
my
doesn't-
family
it-
creed and code.
Right. It doesn't align.
Yeah.
So yes, we might have went to the same university. We might even have the same degree. We might even belong to the same professional organizations. But how you raise and live and your core principles don't align. So we can't be
We
affiliated.
can't. Mm-mm.
You know?
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I do think that it's important to be in alignment with the people that you're co-raising your kids with.
Yeah.
And I say that because just recently I think I've made some little shifts, and kind of turned more inward.
Yeah.
To preserve the innocence and the like our family core value system,
Yes.
and make sure that it's understood what we value, who we are.
Yep.
And I would challenge you to write down your family core values, and make it a project. Like come up with a creed, a crest that you can have made and put up in your home. Have made here, because Tavia be doing things, right? So something that signifies, no, this is who we are. This is my legacy. This is what I'm passing down. My mother passed it down to me. Now I'm going to be the greatest father, and I'm going to have my wife, right? These are things we talk about, and I'm going to take great care of her, and then we're going to have our children. And this is the model that we follow because this is a part of our family code of ethics and ideas. And I don't want it to be tainted.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be messed up through the lens of someone else's, like you said, the way that they parent, what they think, and well, he needs to get, be a man and have a soft, harder skin and this and that. And it's like, yes, all of those things are true. However, this is my house,
Right.
and the way that we do things here is with structure. We're building character and moral value, and those things far surpass. You got to have tough skin, so you got to, treat people crazy. I can't stand it. If you're a bully, you have self-esteem issues. Let's work on that.
Yeah.
If Carter's talking crazy or doing something that's unsavory, I feel it before I'm like, excuse me, what's going on with that?
Yeah.
I don't like the way you saying that.
Yeah.
Stop talking to that little kid, whoever like
Right.
that.
Yep.
What is that?
Hold your own kids accountable. Yeah.
Have to.
People don't do it.
That doesn't follow our family core value system. Get off that.
Yep.
Move on, brother. We're not going to be doing this. So there's a lot of things. And like you said, there's a lot of work to be done within our own homes. And I think that that's really the point that I was making earlier today when I was talking on my TikTok. Listen, you have work to do within your own home with your own kids. Teach your kids how to be friends, real friends. If you don't know, Google it. Chat GPT it. AI, whoever out,
Right.
Chester,
Claude.
Claude. Thank
Chester.
you, Chester,
Claude.
whoever. Find a way to teach them how to create friendships that last a long time, regardless of the race. These are things you don't do. You don't leave somebody if you
Ever.
came with them.
Yes.
You don't start bullying them mid-trip. You take your friends out and mid-trip you start treating them bad. No. It's just not what you do. So It's just a topic that we could definitely expound on longer. And then also, going back into the trauma of being raised as Black girls within a community that was full of other races is another topic that we could just talk about later. And we slowly touched on legacy, but I definitely want to dig back into that on another day where we discuss, the family core value system.
Yes.
Because what you're teaching your children literally, decides your legacy.
Yep.
And so anyway, there's that. All right. Anyway, let's talk about what you've created.
Okay.
Because this is about entrepreneurship too.
Yes.
Motherhood,
so
entrepreneurship.
I believe in, working with your hands, being able, and that could translate it to different ways. And so I'm a creative, and so I make these notepads. They're custom designed notepads.
Oh, let me show mine.
Yes.
She made me some. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at them. And they're glued on top. Just like a legal pad that you get from the store. Oh, shoot.
Right?
Oh, well, that's a good advertisement.
Right?
It works. It works.
It works.
Yes, I love them.
And then we have the cup coordinating for this particular design, a coordinating cup.
Yes.
Black women are dope.
Because
yes,
we are.
We are.
Yes.
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 And then, of course, we have to have a T-shirt, too.
Because what?
Because we have T-shirts, too. So at the 661 Creator Space, the Makers Lab in particular, we could bring your Pinterest desires to life.
To life.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's a locally owned and operated business.
Yes.
We support that. Also, I have to show you. So it's a full set for me. It's the full set for me. So it is the notepad. Let me put this to the side. The notepads. Okay. See the little logo up top? Can you see that good? It is the soft space thoughts and notes note. Let me do this so that you can see the inside. Notepad. Well, it's not a notepad. What is this?
A notebook.
A notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Book, yes. It's spiral bound. Hello. And it goes along with the soft space journal. What? So it's a full set. And I love it.
And you do have a cup too, but you don't have to bring your cup.
I didn't bring the cup today. I did not bring the cup today, but I do have, I have a cup very similar to this, and it has the logo on it. And so what I want to just highlight is how thoughtful each piece is, because when you're in business and you're a woman or a man, really, you need things stationary that has your logo on it, because we're constantly writing notes to ourselves or to other people, folding it up, putting it in. And it's just that added layer of branding, that added layer of marketing. And it's just the perfect little cherry on top. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this and for highlighting other small businesses that just want to be great.
Want to be great. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm
That's
excited.
what we should be making great small businesses.
That was good. Okay. So let me say this. Thank you, Tavia, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And having fun, deep conversation with me. Even though this topic got a little heavy and stuff, I hope that you can relate to it, because anybody who's been raised around people should be able to relate to what we're talking about. I mean, it's a people thing, right? Any ethnicity, you can insert, excerpt, and you could see the story play out in your own life. And so that's the goal here, is to be relatable and to bring you ways that you can be more careful with yourself and others. That's the whole purpose of this podcast. Okay. So you could definitely also reach Tavia at
Instagram, tavia.wooley, Wooley. You can also, if you're interested in creator space, we're on Instagram, 661 creators with the S space. And then we have a website, www.661creatorspace.com.
Perfectly said. So succinct. All right. So you could also reach me at aprilmarieholland.com. That is my website. That is where you can book a hair care appointment. That is where you can order a journal. That is also where you can view all of my podcasts. Everything is linked there. You can also see Lovey's House, which is where I read stories to children. Oh, the children, right? The babies.
The babies.
The babies.
The children.
Yes.
Not little men. Not little women.
children.
Children.
Yes. Okay. And so, get into that. You can hit all those links at my website. You can follow me on Instagram at handleherwithcare_podcast. You can also see my personal Instagram at ROXSTARR_life. That's my personal page where I just be doing things. Okay. That's my gardening. That's my eating, my cooking, my parenting, everything. Hair doing, it's all of it. And so I will have more information too about the upcoming wellness retreat. We also have Radiant Blooms. It's a small event that we're hosting, and it's going to be amazing. It's on August 1st. Get into it. I will have the links down in the comment section of this podcast so that you can click them and join in the fun. Okay, so once again, thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to this channel so that I can continue to have great conversations with amazing guests or by myself. And I can't wait to see you next time. With care, always. Love you. Bye. Mwah.